All right. Welcome, folks, to Talk TV Media Network. Today is another day, the 20, not 20th, December 17, 2021, here in the city of Monrovia and Jersey and Oklahoma, coming to you live, bringing you the best of the best when it comes to broadcasting and information around the world, and specifically here in Liberia. To our viewing audience today, we have a special guest on board. But before we delve into that and get into all the nitty gritty of what we got coming tonight for our listening audience, let me bring my colleagues on board. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And I think
Can you hear
welcome
me?
to the show. My internet from my end is a little bit slow tonight, so for our listening audience, you know, uh, I don't have a strong Wi-Fi where I'm at.
I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, I'm getting you. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right. I think Mr. Gado is having some internet problems over there. You can see it's a little thing on that side.
It's tough.
You got to log in and re-log in, Mr. Gado.
Hello.
You're back
Okay,
again.
I'm trying to connect. We are trying to make sure we have a good connection here
I hope
today
the guests can come in
on this
quick so we
show.
can just go
We're
straight to
having
it.
a little bit of technical difficulties. Are you there, Joel?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. You guys can. I think you guys can go ahead with this. You guys can go ahead with the show until I can uh get myself situated with the internet issue here.
Okay. All right. So we should be having, ladies and gentlemen, we should be having ANC Secretary General appearing today. Mr. Amos, what do you foresee? What do you think ANC will be looking at if we get the guests coming up today? We hope he can come up. He's in Liberia too. Hope the internet doesn't stop him from coming. What do you foresee him talking about?
Well, I anticipate that the SG will be able to tell the Liberian people and the world at large as to where we are now, their own standing when it comes to the entire first the CPP process, how far they are, where we are. We want to know because it's been quite a very long time now. We haven't heard anything. And then apart from the CPP issue, the current budget that is ongoing, I have a copy. I was just going through, and then I saw somewhere there some kind of $2.7 million being allotted to Ellen Johnson Sally Women Foundation. So I kind of, triggered my attention. Is that foundation statutory that it has to be? There should be an allocation through the national budget. When Ellen is an icon, she can just do proposal and solicit resources from, other sources to be able to fund her foundation. I mean, had it, if when it comes to her entitlement as former president, I think that she's entitled to, but I'm not even quite sure that if we were to, that her entitlement would even be more than, or would be around $1 million, least to talk about to be given $7 million when our hospitals are run, no medicine, no machines to help people do dialysis in that country. And we are just taking about $2.7 million to an individual. It's alarming. And I would think that Ellen herself, being an icon, will even reject that money and look other places.
That's a very important point. But one of the things that's so concerning is that I haven't heard any of the major contenders making a comment about that.
Absolutely.
I'm not hearing Alexander Cummings talking about it.
Yes.
I'm not hearing Joe Barker talking about it. And
Yeah.
I really want to hear them talking about it because, number one, I understand that Cummings is a board member of one of Ellen Foundation.
Okay.
And then Barker is a former vice president. And so this is a test case to see
Yes.
how resolved they are, even when they are conflicted, to see where they stand. So I haven't heard Cummings making comments about it. I'm waiting to hear him talking about it personally. And I hope the ANC brother will come on tonight so he could be able to give us some perspective.
And interestingly too, the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Aloysius J. Toll, he comes from the human rights background. He's been seen as an icon because under the Taylor regime, he stood the test of time. He fought Taylor, and so I also expect that, with his background from the human rights, sphere, and now that he's in the body politics of Liberia, I expect that some of these things, from the human right angle, will factor into the political sphere. So to see this kind of thing going on and nobody talking, and then you will see that the lower house has already passed that budget, and there is a potential that the Senate will pass it because Aberche is from Grand Cru, from Grand Cess. He's a Senate Pro Tem. George Riap is purportedly from Grand Cru as well. And can he betray his crew brother? I don't think so. And so they will lobby and money will change hands and they will also pass. And then where are we heading?
Right. And I think one of the things I see there is that the practice of just putting organizations in the budget it did not just start with this regime. It has been a practice even when Ellen was back as president. And one of the things I think people don't get here is that there's nothing wrong with government giving private organizations money. However, that money has to be given to. So, for example, there are agencies set up to render certain services. For example, we have the Ministry of Gender, Child Protection. They are responsible for that sector. Now, if you want to give money to organizations in that sector, then that procurement has to be done by maybe PPCC, and then there's a bid out there, and private organizations can be able to put in project proposals to make a request for that particular money. And there's a criteria that is set. What should be the benchmark? What would be the priorities? But the danger that is set here is when you start to give organization money all over the place, it becomes difficult for you to really get things doing. You have fragmentation. The priorities of those organizations many times will not be priorities that are really of grave importance or urgency. So I think people need to look at that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Gadu, are you back?
Are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's sad.
Awesome.
Oh, what is Joy?
Yeah, go ahead. It seems like we're having some real technical issues today on the show.
It's a sad day in the country to see that people are only concerned about themselves and not the country. It is a sad day, that a budget.
Yeah, I was hearing you guys talking, Mr. Kufa, about this 2.7. You said 2.7 million or 1.7? What was it? About being allocated in the budget for former President Ellen Sirleaf.
Yeah, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Women Foundation.
And that leads me to asking the question: what is happening with Liberia? Liberia and Liberians are struggling and suffering. Man, poverty is at the apex.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the country, and here we are allocating money and budgets for former government officials who have no use for this money.
Absolutely.
And because they have enough, they have more than enough. And people are languishing in hospitals, dying, no medical supplies. You visit these hospitals, no electricity and all of that.
Yes.
If you visit these neighborhoods, road conditions are a problem. And so that leads me to say, what is the government doing? What are our representatives doing when it comes to these kind of issues? Why are they not working in the best interest of the people that elected them in the first place?
That's the thing. And the practice of until Liberia can get to the next level, the whole political process has been, is fragile, and the political strategy for election winning is suppress them economically, and then within that little space of the political campaign, give them little, you raise their hope, they vote for you, and in fact, the whole paradigm of people, trucking people from Monrovia to go and vote for them in their counties using the resources. There need to be a way to put a stop to that madness in our country. And this is the reason why people are not being they are not accounting for the power that they are being entrusted with. They are only seeking their own interests and not the interests of the people. All right. And as I said to one of my colleagues when he called me, he was, he's from the FDA, and he was narrating how much the FDA brought and how much they gave to them and all of them, and I just told him, I said, my brother, the reason why that budget is at that legislature, it is because those guys are only dissecting it to see what is in there for them. They do not care about any other thing. As long as they can do the adjustment, whether upward in their own interest, that's it. Nothing else matters. And we've seen it. We've seen it. No legislature I have ever heard of to raise that issue of that budget line. Why should it go to the former president? No one. Neither the political parties. No stakeholder in that country raised that issue. I mean, Liberia is not the property of a single person.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, I definitely with you on that from that standpoint. And the thing is, when you look around what's happening, it seems like what is wrong with our national leaders? Common sense wisdom, where is it?
Yeah.
With the notion walking the streets of Monrovia, Liberia, and you see poverty. It's so clear, right, staring at you right in your forehead, right in your face. And these guys are taking all this monies and stuff, and enriching themselves overnight. Why do people suffer? If you look at the dynamics of the country, how God has blessed this nation so marvelously over the years. Absolutely, if the resources of this nation were put in the right direction, there will be no poor person in this country.
Yes.
That's my take with that. Whether anybody believes that out there or not, because Liberia has been blessed with iron ore, bauxite, timber, gold, diamonds, and stuff. Whatever you think of, food, we are able to. The forest is rich, the land is rich. Um, Liberia has been blessed, to say the
Absolutely.
least. But
Absolutely.
what are we doing as leaders to be able to steer? Because the leader, the purpose of the leader is you are there to steer the ship. Liberians are not beggars. That's one thing I know. Liberians are independent people, and the government role is just to do a little bit, just provide the basic services, good roads, good sanitation, good water, good electricity, just those basic sanitation. Liberians will do for themselves. I mean, you go in the city, you travel in the city, one part has electricity, another part doesn't have electricity, one part has running water, another part doesn't. And this has been going for decades. And here we are celebrating the year, 200 years of celebration of the diaspora. Liberians coming home of freedom from Pan Africanism. Where are we? Where is Liberia at this point?
That's
You
it.
know,
You know,
what can we do? Even if you digress and you look back over the years and say, now look at the future leaders of tomorrow. These youngsters, these young kids that are being raised up. What platform are we laying down for them? What future do we have for them? In which direction should we shape Liberia for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? Where do you see Liberia? And this
that's
is where I think 2023 election is very, very key. And so tonight we are still expecting our guest, Aloysius Stowe, uh, ANC Secretary General. Uh, uh, he is our guest for tonight. We are still expecting him to be on the show to answer uh, uh, some serious questions when it comes to where the ANC is taking Liberia. What
Absolutely.
is the vision of the ANC? Where is uh, the leader, Alexander Cummings, taking the Liberian people? What is his platform? And
Yes.
this is where we want them to come in. And we as an independent network, Kofa, we are here to make sure we don't take sides. We deal with the issues.
Of course.
We dissect the issues. We get into it and nail it down.
Abs-
We don't take sides. So if
abs-
you come on our show, we are going to ask you the tough questions. We want to hear from you. We are the voice for the voiceless. That's why
Absolutely.
we are here.
Absolutely.
Um, we go places where others do not go, and so we bring these guys on our platform to make sure uh, they are really, really giving us information that is practical, that is common sense, uh, reality that Liberians can buy into and believe. Because Liberians, from my experience so far, are getting fed up with politicians, of our day. It's just mere talk, no show. People are now beginning to take a different trend,
Mm-hmm.
believing they need practical solutions,
Yes.
real solutions. And when you look at it, the demographic of the Liberian population right now, you see a lot of the voting population are young people,
Yes.
young
Yes.
people, and these children, these boys and girls are not being school. They no vocational trainings. They're all out there in the street riding a lot of keke, bicycles, motorcycles, selling wheelbarrows,
That's the,
telemarkets
that is the,
everywhere you
that is
go.
that is the employment. That's the job creation. Riding
How
keke,
could you say?
renting.
How could you say that that is a job creation,
That is the
Mr. Kofi?
proper no, and that is the proper own definition of job creation. That's not my definition. That is the current regime definition of job creation. Little children in the streets selling scratch cards, riding keke for living, and our people see that as sanctity, human dignity, and
Mm,
they pay deaf ears to the plight of the people and continue to enrich themselves at the expense of the ordinary people. And they don't see anything wrong with that. They don't see anything wrong with that. How many job, how many jobs have been created since January inauguration of this current president?
wow.
No one can show
That's,
the statistics. How many
and that is
investments?
why, and I think that is why this platform is open to any of them. You can come on this show and tell the Liberian people
You
the
know,
number of jobs they've created, what is the state of the country, where is it heading, because they will be on the ballot too come 2023, because is their vision still the same 5 years, 6 years ago of, is that what they want for the next 6 years, making it 12 years for the country? So those of the supporters for CDC, ANC, LP, UP, all these political parties. Our platform is open. Come and discuss your vision, because if there's no vision, according to the scriptures, the people perish, right?
absolutely.
And vision is very key
Of
to the
course.
to the survival of a nation.
Yes.
That's what I think. Vision is very, very key. And so these people need to present to us common sense vision for Liberia.
You got it.
Common sense vision. This is what the Liberian people want to know. This
Yes.
is what we want to hear.
That's exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Mr. Kofa,
Yes.
what's your take? So far, uh, uh,
I I agree with
The
you.
question on the floor. The question on the floor when you and Joy were having a discussion.
I agree with you, honestly. And
Yeah. So the question is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, ask a question. Maybe ask a question. At least that will give me a lead in terms of how I can tailor my answer to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember you brought this story. I think you probably may have attacked it a little bit while I was still having internet issues
Yeah.
or problems, but I was able to put it up there. Why is former Ellen Salih, President Ellen Salih, giving $2 million, man, out of from
Well,
the national budget? What
well,
what is their excuse? What is their reason?
no one. In fact, my understanding, that I was listening to one of the talk shows. One of the talk show hosts said that when they summoned the minister of gender, Pisota,
Hmm.
when she was being quizzed as to how that money get into the budget, she said she didn't have any iota of idea as to how can you be a minister and that budget line, that budget item is under your ministry. And
Right.
your technical people, in fact, you as a minister, they have briefed you as to what your budget looks like, because you cannot tell me that you have never been in the loop of the budgetary preparation. You have been in a loop. So to come up to say that you didn't know is certain. And honestly, no one talking about this. Even people who project themselves as budget experts that have been analyzing the budget all over the place, they are they have not been raising the issue. I don't see. I mean, they found unless someone can tell me that the foundation is a statutory, was created by an act of legislature, then I will reason that it is entitled to any budgetary allocation. Or it is a subsidy. And then if you think that is a subsidy to a
Hmm.
private foundation, that foundation was just organized in 2018. What benefit, what dividend has that brought to Liberia for us to award that foundation $2.7 million of our resources when our hospitals are empty, when young girls coming from school need scholarship, when we need to build the human capacity in Liberia, and you allocate 200,000 to each county, but you gave an individual $2.7 million. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense
But
to me.
comrade, let me bring it here the plain. Let me bring it here the plain simple way, right?
Yeah.
12 years, 12 years of Ellen. Come on now. I mean, Liberia had just come out of war, and financial aid, was coming into the country enormously. And right after that, too, we had Ebola before her exit. A lot of aid came into the country. You want to tell me, man, the Omaha 12 years, she could not run a foundation and all that stuff, all the money.
All
So
right.
the only time a foundation can be up and running, and I mean, look at the issue of foundation in the first place. Let's look at it. This should be her own personal stuff. This
Initiate.
should be something personal for her that she's supposed to be doing. But now her foundation is becoming the priority and the responsibility of the Liberian people,
Yeah.
taxpayers' money,
Absolutely.
misplacement, misjudgment.
Mispriority. And I don't blame her. I blame those who pull, I blame the Ministry of Finance because they crafted the budget. All right, granted. That's why we have check and balances.
Right? With the lawmakers as
Separation
well.
of power. All right?
Right.
And so, if the executives did not do their work properly, and that's why you are the gatekeeper, you're not supposed to scrutinize that budget in the interest of the Liberian people. Ask them the hard question, Mr. Minister of Finance, why will you give Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, our former president, immediate past president, who is still licking the grease that she raped from this country, give her additional $2.7 million? I recall during her regime, there was some money, I think about $50 million that was allocated from NUCA, the oil blocks that were being apportioned. And that $50 million, I think the Secretary General even wrote an article on it. If he appears on it, maybe he can speak to that. He said the country, the ministries or the central bank did not have the capacity to keep that money. And instead, diverted that money into her son's account. How could you have done that? And nobody thought it was good.
You mean the Liberian people money in a personal account?
And you know the interesting thing, the very CDC government in power today, when they took power, they were all over the place running here and there, that Ellen looted the coffers, they left nothing in the coffers, and that they were struggling. So why will you now want to reward her for repleting the coffers that you inherited? You said you inherited a broke economy.
Right.
That's not a kind of paradox. Highly paradoxical.
But not only that, comrade. How do we even believe? How do we know that this government inherited a broke economy when there was no audit done?
That was the theory of
advisors
running all around.
People who worked in government. Yeah, people who worked in government. That is normally what's supposed to be done when a government is transitioning from one government to the next.
Absolutely.
I mean, audits are done. Audits do take place. So nobody understands. And now we're seeing the government is trying to do as much as it can to revamp the system. But how can you do that when we don't even know? There's no declaration of how much you have, and all we see is a lot of constructions going on by these people. Yeah, these constructions going on in the country as well. But look at the configuration of the government, my brother. With U.S. sanctions that has just been placed on former warlords and other people that have fought in the war, and these people are still in government serving our people. All of that is, I would see it as something that is embarrassing to the we-led government. Because where is the credibility of the government when someone who has caused heinous crimes in the past is running in your government? And as a leader, these are things that the international community is watching. These are issues that the international community is watching, and is playing a blind eye to Liberia, and as a result, the Liberian people are hurting. People are hurting.
When this
happens,
I'm not. Yeah.
So all of these checks and balances, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that when this current government, the sitting government, when it used to be the leading opposition, there are records on the books that this particular regime, when they were opposition, they run on the theory that they were going to ensure that during their regime, a war crime court will have to come to Liberia to give those quote unquote number figures, the approximately
Right.
250,000, as they said, people that died, and those that were being victimized, to give them some level of peace. At the moment when people are talking about the issue, the president is seeking advisory opinion from the legislature whether it is ideal for war crime court to come to Liberia. Is it not insane that you're seeking advisory opinion? Is that a responsibility of the legislature to advise you as a sitting president as to what you're supposed to do? This is what you ran on. And on the basis of this, people saw that you were credible, and then they entrusted power to you. And now the time has come.
Yeah.
You are breaking your feet. You are creating bottlenecks, administrative bottlenecks, something that is in your purview. You acting like it is not within your purview to do. And the sad thing is that these other people, the AMC, the Arizona Comics, the Joe Buaka, all right? I'm not talking about Tianwa, because Tianwa have been critical, even from early time, all right?
Right.
They are not saying anything. Even the current budget that is under discussion, we are having conversation. None of these political parties have been able to raise alarm. There is a popular saying that if the Christmas is going to be good, we see it from the if. If the if is good, then that means that Christmas will be, when you start seeing the old man gathering all of the ingredient, putting stuff together, then you have hope that tomorrow that the Christmas will be grand. You are
right.
in opposition. If you're not laying the groundwork to raise the hope of the Liberian people, and you are just talking, it's not just about what you're going to do. It is the position you take against the current regime, to stand tall to that regime. That's how the people know that when this guy gets there, he's going to be tough. He's going to do something different. But you're not standing tall to the people that are exploiting our country. Yet they say when you get there, you're going to do this. We need to start seeing the signs, so that by the time when these little things are visible to us, it will raise our hope, and we can now say that we can depend and rely on this leadership, but nothing at the kind.
So basically, I could get your part where you talk about the responsibility of the political parties, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I can tell why it makes sense, because they could still be the watchdogs. They are not in power, but they are seeking for that higher office in a soon not distant future.
Yes.
So they could be the watchdogs for the Liberian people. But if they are not sounding alarms when it comes to these so-called budgets that people are just literally, dividing money among themselves, and someone will argue, say, the GDP growth varies. From last year to this year is higher from what they're saying, But even if it is, look around you, the poverty rate. It has to match. Like here, you see the Liberian dollar has dropped to 140 Liberian dollars to $1 US, but the prices of things are still high.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has diminished. It's still high at when the Liberian dollars was 170 to $1 US. With that kind of variation and dynamics, it makes it very hard on the Liberian people. Very, very hard on the Liberian people because imagine, okay, you purchase your goods at the time when the US dollar was 1 to 170, and then the rate dropped to 140. Now, how can you even sell? Because you are selling at a loss right there. Because all from 170 to 140, anything in between, now you're forced to drop. And then if you sell it up high, ain't nobody going to come and buy anything from you. So it's making it difficult, very, very difficult for the country and the majority of the Liberian people who are out there and doing business. So I mean, those economics folks out there hearing us, if you want to come on the show, let us know. Tell us. You know, we love to hear your perspective, like quote unquote, the man who always advocate himself out there as the Liberia's economic dad, Sam Jackson. Let him come up. You know, we'd love to send an invitation to him on this show. You know, come and let us know. Tell the Liberian people because the country is suffering.
Yeah, I mean,
Liberia is suffering. And what can we do to turn the page? Because Liberians are coming home. Liberians realize this is all we have as a people, Mama Liberia. And what can we all do as a people to make it better? That's all that matters. What can we do? We're not just here, oh, we're not going to sit here and criticize, but we want to do. What can we do as a people, as Liberians, to be able to help? Open the economy of the country as well. You know, I gave you a common instance, what talking still in the vein of the economy, since it's an open mic tonight. We had our guest who was supposed to be on the show, but apparently he's on the road. I don't think he's going to make it tonight, so we may have to just reschedule him. But I was talking to someone and I was telling them about the free port of Monrovia, Maritime. When it comes to shipping into the country, the laws and the rules they have put in place has strangled the Liberian business people. And only the Lebanese man, only the wealthy can afford shipping now. So the common sense when it comes to shipping, what I was suggesting is do like some other countries do. If you're shipping a 44 container or 44 whatever container, set up a fixed price, a set price on a container. Say if it is $2,000 to clear this container, it doesn't matter what one has in the container. Let it go across the board, making it easy for shippers, making it easy and affordable for Liberians as well, who do want to do business, you know, when it comes to maritime and shipping.
Absolutely.
Simple as it is. But you send a container from overseas, bring it at this port to clear the port. It's a hassle. It's a lot of money. You're going to pay more money clearing the container than what you pay shipping the container. Or how is that going to interest you? How is that going to move you forward when it comes to shipping business? So we are expecting. This is our expectation, and these are areas where we want the Liberian government to do better. Uh, Prioritize Liberian entrepreneurship, Liberian owned businesses. Prioritize Liberians. You cannot see what you see here happening in Ghana. It's not. You cannot see that. You know, if you go to open a business in Ghana, you better have you rather just have to go through a resident, a Ghanaian who is a resident, but as a foreigner, Liberia is open and foreigners are coming running businesses while the Liberian population, Liberians, citizens are struggling. And so what do we do?
You know, I like when I'm talking to some colleagues, you know, I find it so hard to see if whether in our lifetime, in our generation, to see whether our country will ever get better. because we have for so long and so far we've talked about the whole divisive politics over the time. Oh, it was the people spoiled this country. Oh, we need a native man. We did, today, quote unquote, we have a native man in power. Some of the same issues that confronted our people yesterday continue to permeate the corridor in that country. The living standard of our people continue to worsen day by day. And the critical areas, people are not paying. And it all boiled down to selfishness and corruption. The transactional cost at the port of Monrovia is high and making trade difficult for people. All the processes you have to pass through, you've been shipping to Liberia, so you are more versed with this issue than I do. But on the overall economic, side, I know that once transaction costs are high, that will translate into prices, and consumer will suffer, and that's where we are. What is happening? Can there be a revision of the policy at the port, or what is going on? Why can't you make, business doing? The last time, creating an enabling environment for a conducive business doing in Liberia. Under the Ellen regime, there were a lot of reforms that went on to improve the way we were doing business, to encourage people. And so I'm not sure what is happening with respect to the work that was being done, that even at one point in time, or maybe on several occasions, rated Liberia in the World Bank doing business, a journal as, one of the good areas that you could venture to do business under the Ellen regime. What has changed? Why is it that doing business is difficult in Liberia? Is it that there have been an increment, or the taxes have been that they are levying now have increased to the extent that they are unbearable? The Ministry of Finance, they need to work and be able to address these issues to help people who want to do business, to help them do business with ease. Because when the competition is high, that will also help prices to go down. But when you have few people just in control, and then they caught in the shark every time, it makes life difficult for our people. It makes life difficult for our people. And the leadership is not there. That is the problem. Liberia lacks leadership. The leadership is not there. And then we need to also change our attitude, the way we, comrade, until we deal with the issue of corruption in our country, even in homes, it's still going to be a tough situation. It's still going to be a tough situation.
What comes to my mind is, as you speak, is our religious community as well. Where do they stand? What is the position of the religious community? Because they can make a huge change. They can make a lot of difference as well. And where do they stand? Our so-called bishops and pastors. Everywhere you turn, everyone is being called a bishop in this country. Every corner of Monrovia, there's a church. And all these people are in these churches. As I walk through the streets of Liberia and Monrovia and other parts of the country, it's very hard to see, with your naked eyes when you know that the solution could be easy, very easy. And the solution is there as a leader of the country, but I don't think our leader has bad intentions. I think it has to do with who he surrounds himself with. And that goes with every friendship, every person's personal life. Who you surround yourself with tells people a lot about where you're heading. You know, because I mean, this man has had country of hard looking way back in the past. I mean, kudos to him. I give him that. But since he's been given the mantle, man, um, I mean, where is it?
I disagree, comrade. I,
Yeah,
u-
I
I
mean
used
that's
to,
your point. That's what the show is good for.
I used to think the way you thinking and the way you said it. That's how I used to. But I've come to realize that it was not that way because if for any reason you've had your people at heart and your people rewarded you with the highest seat of the nation, and you want to tell me that you are the ultimate decision maker in that you are in the driver's seat, and that your advisor will give you advice not to seek the affairs of your people. If you love a girl or you love your woman, can anybody can can anybody tell you anything that this is how your woman look, and then you turn against your wife? If you love the people of Liberia, because love changes everything, there should be nothing
Right?
absolutely that grabs your attention from serving your people. But it has come to bear that whatever and people who know whatever that this young man or this gentleman did, it was done, it was not for free. They pay him back. Whenever he will say, I will help the Lone Star to go, he got reimbursed. All right?
Yeah, I mean that's your take. I mean, and I respect the fact that I mean, anybody who's given the seat of government has a lot of power to transform a lot if they so desire, right?
Yeah.
But if you look back during the days, the heydays of the war, when bullets were ranging from one place to the next, I mean, he kept Liberia on the map through his career when it comes to soccer. I mean, he was that ambassador up to the point where he was even awarded, given awards for being a peace ambassador. So I mean, that goes to him. I'll give him that.
I agree.
He did what he could as an individual then, just to keep the smile on the faces of the Liberian people. But yeah, coming after that, now the Liberian people have seen that part and said we're going to reward you with the highest seat of the land. So if I were in his position, this is the best time to shoot so high that the Liberian people will look back like Ghanaians are looking back now during the days of Jerry John Rawlings,
That's
because the country boys are in charge now.
that's true.
And if you're a country boy, you do things as though you came from the Rock of Gibraltar,
I'm not
you
cutting.
know.
I listened to a clip. One of the talk shows was hosting, and I listened to a clip where the president still see himself as a celebrity, and I think now you are the father of the country. you need to pull aside that issue of celebrity and non-celebrity. You are into politics now, and you don't bring your celebrity thing into politics. This is a critical time to serve the people of Liberia. You are living in, I don't know if I borrow their popular word, opulence, and then you're telling people you are a celebrity, so you are entitled to do celebrity stuff. That's not it ought to be, man. You're missing the mark. This is serious business. The life of the Liberian people, their daily bread is at stake. Our people are sick. They are dying every now and then. There is no hospital. Now there is no medicine, no specialist. There are no specialists in terms of medicine in that country. A lot need to go. The roads are bad. Things are not moving straight in that country. And you keep saying you are a celebrity, so they should celebrate you. That's being insane.
And that would bring us to the end of the show, comrade, because it touches my heart today visiting a couple of orphanages and hospitals here to see, what is going on in some of these. And if you see the cases, it will struck you. As a father, it's hard for me to even see my son, any of my boys are in such places, to be treated. Because, lack of electricity is not stable. The places, it's like summer. Here, Liberia is in summer. What Americans call summer is dry season now, and it's hot. It's humid. Um, and imagine having a patient in a hospital with no air condition. It's hot. There's no fans. If a serious surgical case or surgery comes in, what happens is they're gonna tell you we don't have gas or fuel. You the patient now have to pay X amount of dollars for fuel, you know, to have a surgery. After the surgery, the generator is turned off. Very, very sad to see that happening in this day and age of technology. Um, there is electricity in other parts of the country, that other suburbs or neighborhoods, because you can see that the government is trying from that end as well. But places that I visited, was very, very touching and very sad. And to the point where Liberians, as Liberia is now open, those in the diaspora, come home. If you have your contacts, this is not a one man thing. We all need to put hands together to help Liberia becomes a better Liberia. And this is what we do at Talk TV Media Network. Our show is a 1 hour show on every Friday. We talk politics, and Saturday is when we talk sports, and Sunday is when we talk religion, gospel. And every Wednesday is when we bring you the business part of Talk TV Media Network. So, to you, our listeners, we'd love to invite you on the show. Follow us, like us, share the link on your various platforms. We highly appreciate you. Um, Comrade, this the biggest enemy to this show, man. And see, the time is ticking right there.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about, and I have a lot of fascinating uh, personalities will be joining us in a not too distant future on the show as well. But your parting words, man. What do you have to say
Oh yeah.
for the listening audience before we take
Yeah,
leave of them?
Comrade, thank you for the time, and we want to encourage, Comrade to find the times, so that he can appear on this platform. The people of Oklahoma here in the U.S. and then around the globe, and the people of Liberia, would like to hear from him or from the CPP, from the ANC, and with respect to where they are now in terms of the CPP arrangement, and also on critical national issues. We would like to have him here maybe next week so that we can all look into the issues and see and inform the Liberian people. So I think those are my parting words, comrade.
Well, thank you very much for our listeners, and thank you, Mr. Comrade Amos Kofa, for your contribution, and our colleague Joel, who I think he had technical issues as well as I did. Too bad he's in a world of technology out there, and he's having those issues. I don't know if welcome to Liberia. Then you will really understand what it means to
Absolutely.
to have all of that out here. Where you have issues with the unstableness of internet and electricity as well. But this too is Liberia. This is our country, and we will always be here to make sure that we bring the best of the best for our listening audience. To you, our listeners, we want to thank you again for the show, and we hope to see you in our next edition of the broadcast. Sorry, we couldn't bring you the Secretary General. I know things are beyond probably his control, but he was to be with us tonight. He told me he was traveling, but he was going to try to be in to the show. But I know connectivity around the country is a big problem when it comes to internet. So I hope we will have a sit down with him, give him another chance on the show, because the ANC is vying for the highest position of the land, and they want the Liberian people to hire them, Mr. Cummings. So we are curious. The Liberian people need to know the vision of the ANC. Where is the ANC heading? Where are they going to take the Liberian people? We need to know. The Liberian people want to know. So if you are listening to us, guys, don't shy away. Come on the show. The show is open to you guys. Come and be a part and share your vision to the population, to the Liberian, those in the diaspora and those here in Liberia. Until then, we will take a leave of you, and thanks for being with us on this show. God bless you, and bon voyage.
Thank you, comrade.